Okay, what we have here is a hot point that does not heat. First thing I do on all of these machines is I examine the power cord to see if there's any burnt or anything like that on it. This one brand new. No problems with it. In fact, it's so brand new, it's still got wrappers on it. But anyway, the complaint is it won't heat. So we have to get on the inside of it. And this one's fairly new. And a hot point, if you want to know it, a hot point is very similar to a GE because it's just a lower cost. GE is what it is. I don't know why this on here is bugging me, but I got to get it off. So anyway, you know, on GEs, on the newer GEs, and this one looks fairly new, the wire that goes to the element right here is not a large enough gauge, and this clip right here holds that wire. And I kind of suspect this one might be the same thing because it's being a G. So to get into this thing, I've already started getting into it. You take these two bolts off right here, then you hit that and just rotate it up, and then there's two screws, Phillips head screws, right here. Alright, anyway, you got these two Phillips head screws that go right here, and then you have two more Phillips head screws which fit right under here. And then once you get that situated, you can pop this off and move it to the side. There is a 1/4 inch bolt, or 1/4 inch, or looks like Phillips head, on either side of that. Now once you do that, the front of this thing should come off like that. And you have to worry about these wires down here. Some of these things are hard to get off, the door switch wire. But there's two or three little tabs and latches. And I hate these things right here. Anyhow, let's see if we can get this unplugged without getting our fingers pinched. I hate General Electric plugs. They just are very hard to get the little keeper gizmos pushed. Especially with this dang thing. I bought this machine from a man this morning, and he didn't know what was wrong with it. It looked good, so there I went. Alright, we know one thing. We need to clean out that blower area there. Alright, now that we have that off, we can take the belt off. The belt's going to be right behind this fan here. You reach in here and put your hand on the belt, and then there's an idler pulley that you have to pull down, slip the belt off the back of it, and turn it loose. And now the drum should come right out. And let's look and see if we can find. Now, I don't see any problem with that wire. That wire's good. So we have some other reason why this thing isn't heating up. So I'm looking at this. Usually there's no problem with these elements. These are really robust elements. Now this one I can see there's been damage done, and I think I just might have found a break in it. Something got in there. We're going to check that element. I hope it's not this element because these things are expensive. I wonder what got into that thing. Huh. Evidently something got in there and started hitting. Make sure we don't see any breaks in it. Well, I don't. But let's get our test set out and figure out what's going on with this rascal. Hey, Ruby. Hey, Ruby, how you been, baby? How you been? I hadn't seen you in a while. Where you been hiding? You want a treat? Let's get you a treat. Come on. I'll get you one. I guess I heard somebody else heard a treat, and he's on his way. Here, you take two. Ruby, you take two. Ruby and Wally. Alright, let's check this stuff for continuity. Let's put our beeper on. Not working. What's going on here? There it goes. We're going to have to hear. It's chilly today, and it's chilly. These lead wires get stiff. Alright, we're going to hang on this rascal right here. So, our element's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Huh. Well, all of our components are good. Why is it not heating? How you doing? Appreciate it, man. Huh. Well, the next thing that you suspect when they're not working like that is the timer. Yeah. So what I'm doing on this cyclone thermostat, I'm checking that coil, and if you check the coil on audible, you can't hear a tone, but you can see the movement, and there's a reason for that, but it escapes me. I can't ever remember stuff. So we kind of suspect it's not down in here. It's got to be at the timer. But what I'm going to do is wiggle all these connections really good. Especially here on the GEs, it's usually this wire right here, but this wire looks like it's the one that they replaced it with, which is a larger gauge wire. Make sure all our stuff is plugged in good. Wiggle it, and we'll put the the tub back in here. Alright, so you can preload this rascal here by taking it and hooking it behind that right there. But you got to be careful when you stick your hand back in there. So what's going to happen is this is going to be around the tub. That's going to be like that. And when you turn loose of this, it'll pull that belt tight. But be careful. You don't want to hurt yourself. Alright. Now, if you're good at this, you can stab that right in there, just like that. Now, position our belt near the center. Take your watch off again. Alright, now you gotta be careful of that idler pulley. Go over the top of it, put your belt on the motor pulley, then you can pull down on that idler pulley and let the tension off, and it will work. And to check it's working, is you turn the tub, and the blower wheel will turn. While you're at it, get all that nastiness out of there. All right, now these glides look good. That's not too bad. When I turn that on, it's going to suck all that out the back. Okay. Now, plug this back in. We'll put it on those feet down there, or on those tabs and slots. Plug our door switch back in. And now, position our tub back on. What I usually do is I get one side started. It's bent in. There we go. Now, what we can do is we can test it to see if what we did, moving those plugs, messing around back there, did anything for us. This might be one of those with a fuse in it. But usually if that fuse blows, nothing works. Doing this about here. Ooh, look at all that stuff that blew out. And she's not getting hot. Okay. So it's probably going to be a timer problem. But what we want to do, let's check this power going in it. And you got to do this with it plugged in. You want to select alternating current on your multimeter. I'm on now. Two outsides, 248.9. Two insides ought to be 124.9. So we got good current. So we're going to suspect the timer. So let's unplug it and we'll take this off, so we can access that timer a little better. The thing about GE is they rely on the plastic parts to fasten working parts on, and people will just damage that. People get mad, maybe hit that timer, and they just bang on stuff thinking they're gonna fix something, but it doesn't. Lay that right there. So when you start banging on this stuff, you can see this plastic parts that break off. You don't want that to happen. But what you do want to happen, because these aren't color coded, they just say A, B, C, F, T, X, and S. You want to take a picture of it, because if you're going to take that off of there, you will be able to put those wires back. So just take a photograph of it, make sure it comes out. So now we know we can refer back to that photograph. And let me see if I have a timer. P007 377 P007. Let's see if I got. Oh, there's a GE. Oh my gosh. This has got a, doesn't have the P number. Well, these are 4. Nope, it's not gonna be it. It's the only GE new GE timer I have. Let me look over here. Oh, I got to pull down that one. This is not a. This is not GE. Not GE. I've got a lot of GE timers. Where are my GE timers? Not GE. Here we go. There's a 1. Look at that. Okay. I don't think I have any GE timers in here. That I don't. I have one up there. Got stuff scattered everywhere. And that's the way it happens. And no timer. No timers. No timers. Alright, well, let's take this one apart. And we'll see if we can fiddle with it. Okay. And a white wire. And a yellow wire. And an orange wire. And a red wire. You know one thing, they got good connections. Oh. There it went. And how small that is. Smaller even still. There we go. What you want to do is you want to pick it up over that stopper up there, because it snaps in right there. You don't want to break that. Looks alright. Not going to get it off with that for sure. Since when did they start doing that? Look at that long screw, bud. Let's check out our points. Oh, the sun is bright. You don't want to mess that up. I think I see the problem. Points are missing on that one. Just about gone. If you can see way up in there. He's making contact though. There's some on the bottom. Alright. Okay, now we need to make sure that gear gets back into place. And it's going to go just like that. And you want to make sure that black gear fits in that hole right there. Like that. Just like that. And put our screw here. I don't think that's going to fix it, but we know all our components below are working. Alright, had to take care of some business. Anyway, let's put this rascal back together. We maybe ordering this a timer. And when you put these timers back together, make sure you don't want to break these little plastic parts, because man, it's a pain when you do. And you put it in there. This is going to be on top of that, so you have to push down and then turn clockwise, and see it comes back and snaps, and then you have the little screw right there. That is a what do you call that? Torx. It's going to be a Torx 10, number 10 Torx. It goes in there and holds it in position. Now, if you remember, we took a picture. I could probably put this back together without the picture. I'm pretty sure that the yellow goes right here. But let's look at our picture anyway. Come here. Picture. That one. Yep, yellow is going to go on this end. And our white should go right here. You see right there. And our black is going to go up here. And our orange is going to go right there. There's a red, goes in the center. And these heavy wires, that's going to go back down to the element. They're the ones carrying a lot of current. And you have a brown one. There it is. And it goes on the end. And now we can check. So we have brown, red, orange, yellow, white. This is a black going to here. Hey! Some black going to here. Alright, we were checking everything. And some black. This black goes to the motor. So white, yellow, orange, red, and brown. So everything looks good there. So we can put this back on here and see if our finagling did any good. Something tells me it didn't. We want it on some kind of time to dry. Give it some juice. Push the start button. Let's see, make sure it's closed. Push the start button. It's getting hot. So whatever we did inside that timer was what? Those points were making contact. So we ought to be able to get it up to 140 or so. It's climbing, it's climbing, it's climbing. So anyway, what we can do now is put this rascal back together. Let's say that lip. There we go. Yeah. So what is that? Here they are. So anyway, you want to get these like so. There's two. There's one in this corner, one in that corner, and two up front. Not quite in the middle up front, but equidistant. And this is comes together just like a GE. What are you doing? Huh? Oh. There's some in my desk drawer. My what? Check what? Have you taken stuff out of it? That girl's not supposed to be in my toolbox. Gave her a drawer over there with all kinds of tools in it. Told her to stay away from my toolbox. But does she listen? It's something about women. They hear, but they selectively listen. I get accused of that all the time. Tell me I need a hearing aid. Not that I need a hearing aid. I just tell them I listen to what I want to, and I ignore the other part. But anyway, we're going to put this rascal back together, and you can see it's up to 130, going back to 140, so it has cycled down That's typical for a General Electric machine, a Hotpoint, because this is a Hotpoint made by General Electric to run a temperature range of around 140, between 140 and 120, with no clothes in it or dry clothes in it. And you can see that's what's happening there, cycling back and forth. And you know, it's about time to check in with the sponsor of this video, which is me.
Hey everyone, if my videos have helped you save money on your repairs and you'd like to support my channel, I'd really appreciate it if you check out my books on Amazon. I write a mixture of fiction, from sci-fi adventures like Born with Wind and Stars and The Triple Helix, to a heartwarming novel about saving a bakery, Birdie's Bread and Baked Goods. I've also got a short story collection, The Legend of the Loup Garou, and other stories with everything from horror to humor. If any of that sounds interesting, you'll find the links in the video description. Thanks so much, and I really appreciate your support. Now let's get back to the video.
Okay, so we're back and we're putting the bolts back in this console. It just slides in those clips, push it forward, and these bolts go in the console. Now we need to get our Phillips head again, and we're going to have to shut off our machine. Whew, good and hot in there. And we want to bolt down the top now, and it goes through these holes right here. Oh, I'll put that one back in there so I don't drop it. Alright, and I'm going to have to line that up. If you can see that, and there is a hole right there. Sometimes it's hard to get that first one lined up. When you do, there it goes. When you do, you can pull it right on down. And the next one's not so hard to line up. There we go. Goes right under there. And where are you going, Wally? And now we're going to have one that we can resell. Good and hot. And I always like to put my tools back, because I can tell when my wife's been in my toolbox. I have a terrible thing happened. I was working on one of these things. It was a GE. Man brought it to me, and I was trying to I was changing that wire we were talking about, that purple wire. But when it goes into the motor plug, there is a little clip, and you have to kind of depress that clip and pull that wire out. So I got a little screwdriver out of here, and I did that, and I laid the screwdriver down inside the machine, and now I have an empty slot for this screwdriver. And you know, Husky does not sell that without it being a whole set. That screwdriver with a handle is about 3.5 inches long. Well, let's see. 3, maybe 3 and 5/8 maybe long. I'm not sure, but got this little rascal I put in here now. But I'm missing that screwdriver, and I can't replace it because Husky doesn't sell these. They only sell this red set in a set, and this set's been discontinued. Now I found it on some sites, but I can't justify buying all these screwdrivers just for that one that's still in that man's dryer. I'm kind of hoping his dryer messes up again, he brings it back, and I get my screwdriver back. I hate to call a man and say, hey, can I come to your house and tear your dryer apart so I can get my screwdriver back? Because I know exactly what happened to it. Of course, I had to think about it. I accused my wife of taking a screwdriver out of my toolbox, and she says, I am not allowed in that toolbox. Well, you saw her a while ago. She came and got a card out of it to give to a lady over there. So I don't mind. I'm just, you know, if I didn't do that, they'd tear up my man card. Anyway, let's go ahead and clean this rascal up, and we'll call it fixed. And I'm glad y'all stayed around. If you did stay around this long, go watch another one, because I enjoy making these videos for y'all. It's not always simple fixes, but I'm telling you, this right here is almost a brand new one. We're going to call this fixed, and thanks for watching. Check out my the links to my books in the description. I'd appreciate if you'd buy one or two. They're pretty good stories, and I enjoy writing too. I just don't seem to have as much time to do stuff like that anymore. But I'm going to be continuing my science fiction series, and I plan on doing one book and then go to the next series and do another book, and alternate, because you get kind of caught up in one thing and your ideas get messed up, and if you have a little time between writing them and you go back and read it and say, well, this story could go this direction or that direction. Anyway, thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up. See you in the next video.